Okay, welcome back to my channel for learning how to create a web server. So step one, web server creation, simple web server creation using Python Flask is already posted. And if you have not gone through it, kindly see the link that is provided in the description box. And this session is going to we are going to see how the web server is linked with the HTML front end page, right? So this is also a very simple application for the basic learners. This video is developed. So if you are advanced, we will after seeing the three-tier architecture, we will see how to post the entire thing in a uh, Docker as a container, and then we will see how to implement in cloud applications, right? So now we are going to see the step two, which is creation of communication between the front end and then the web server, right? So here the front end, what we are going to use is HTML, and then the web browser, already I have told you the web browser is nothing but we are going to use Python Flask, right? So this is how we are going to implement in this today's video session, right? So this is the two-tier architecture. So in previous lecture itself, I have told you we are for a complete application to run in the web browser, it should have a front end as well as the back end. And now in this video lecture, we are going to see only the two-tier architecture. That is how the web server is communicating to the front end. Similarly, whatever the content that is received in the front end is rendered once again to this front end using this web server, right? So since it is bidirectional, we will see how it is rendering as well as how the information is passing from this web server to this front end, right? So first, whatever data we are giving in the front end will be going for this web server. And once again, if you want to render the data back to the front end, that can be also possible. So I have done a simple application by rendering some data once again into this HTML page, and that will be available in our demo, right? So this is the HTML file which is created for a simple HTML file which consists of two labels and two text box, as well as it consists of one button to submit. And if you submit that content, automatically it will render the first name from the web server to the HTML page, right? So if you have not learned HTML basics, then I will recommend W3 School for learning that HTML language, right? So it is a simple language. If you go through it within 1 or 2 days, you can able to learn it. So HTML, I am starting the tag here. HTML. This is the front tag as well as, and this is the end tag, right? So for each and every tag there will be a starting tag as well as the ending tag. So this is the HTML file. So it is starting with the HTML tag, after followed by a body tag. And this form action is nothing but, since we are giving a button submit, due to submit it has to do this action. And then there is two method, get and post. Here we are using post method. So automatically it will render the content from the web server to this HTML file, right? So form is also very much important for posting and getting information from the web browser. So next is so as I have specified earlier, there are two labels. One label is for first name and another label is for last name, right? So two labels are there. So these are the two labels, label 1 and label 2. And similarly, there are two text boxes which is represented here as input type is equal to text, and we have given the name for the text box, which is F name is the name for the text box. and L name is the name for the second text box, right? So two labels, 1 and 2. Similarly, two text boxes, 1 as well as 2. And P is nothing but it's representing the content in the paragraph, and BR is nothing but break line. So we are going to represent this particular label in one line, and after a break, second text box will be there. Third is also on a label. After that break, the fourth one will be the text box, right? So what this button is going to do, it is going to just give submit, and once it is submitted, it will post the information to the web server, and the web server has to render. So this is the Y value that we are going to get it from the web server, and that Y value should be shown once we have clicked this button. It has to show that value. So we please keep this in mind, so that while we are going for the next slide, you can able to identify how to retrieve this Y value from the previous Python file, that is Python Flask file, right? So now let's moving on to the next. So these are nothing but, so we have started HTML, ended. Similarly, body has been started, body has been ended, and this is the form, and we are going to render back to the Y. So the rendering informations will be available in your Python file. So this is the simple Python file which you are going to communicate with your HTML file. So if you are familiar with the first video, and if you have generated your web server by executing your Python file, then this will be easy for you. So here I am importing Flask as well as render template. So as I have specified earlier, render template is nothing but I am going to render the information back to the HTML file. And then request. So request is nothing but we have to get the value from the HTML file. So request is method is also required, and that is also imported. So from Flask we are importing package Flask, render template, and request. These methods are imported, and this is the main syntax for creating that Flask app is equal to Flask double underscore name double underscore, which is placed within the parenthesis. So next, this one we know already, because already I have told you so many number of paths that are available for URL to represent the web server in localhost. So if you see here, so actually it is 5000, it's not 500. So app root and slash means just you can give http colon slash slash localhost colon 5000, automatically it will go to this particular function or method, and it will render the template which is index.html. So this index.html is nothing but the file what we have seen in the previous slide, right? So this is the file which I am going to save as index.html. And then here app.root, if you are giving changing the path as login, so that is for if you click on the submit button in that HTML file, right? So if you click on the submit button in that HTML file, it has to post. Form action is has to post, right? So that is for slash login. So same content has to be replicated in the next slide also. So that is what given here. If the root is slash login and method equal to post, it has to define another function where if request dot method equal to post, user equal to request dot form. F name is nothing but the first name, the for the label, not label, for the text field what we have given as a F name, that name, the content will be retrieved, and that will be stored in this user. Whatever you are giving in the first name of the HTML page, that content will be retrieved, and that will be stored in this variable user. And then next we are going to return that render template index.html, and we are going to send this y is equal to user, right? So user value will be sent to the value y, so where that value is available, so here, right? So the first name will be rendered back to this HTML file, and it will be displayed in the web browser, right? So that's all, right? So first we are rendering that index.html. So this is how you have to call the HTML file, right? First itself, if you click on that local host, if you type that local host URL, automatically it has to render this HTML. After that, if you click on that button, it has to do all those things, assigning the first name value to the user, and that value is passed to this index.html by rendering, and that value will be displayed in your web browser, right? So now we are going to see the demo of the same, how it is going to execute. Right, so once again, a demo again, what we have to do, we have to open Anaconda Navigator, go and launch the spider. After launching the spider, create a new file, and which is a HTML, and you have to type the program for the HTML what we have seen now. And after typing that HTML program, it has to be saved with that extension .html, right? And after that, so this is very much important, it has to be saved as .html. You can also create the HTML file in your spider itself, but the extension should be .html. So for example, according to my folder representation, so this is also very much important. So already in the first video, I have told you to create a folder within which we have kept our first app.py program. Now within that folder, you have to create another folder which is templates folder. Only within the templates folder only you have to keep all the HTML files. So this is very much important, because if you are not keeping the files within this templates folder, your application is not going to run in this web browser, right? So please keep that in mind. uh, you have to keep your Python file within this folder. If you are keeping the Python file within this folder, then what you have to do, within this folder create another new folder as templates, and you have to keep all the HTML files within that templates folder, right? And then app, so that's all about creating this HTML file. So next what we are going to do, we are going to create the Python Flask file, and then Python file which is based on Flask, and then here the extension is .py, and this should be placed in this folder itself, that is PyFlask folder itself. You can give any name for this folder, but templates folder should be as templates folder. You cannot create any other name, right? So this should be same, but this folder can given any name as per your wish, right? So I have created the second file which is .py, that is represented as second app.py, and after that I am going to open Anaconda PowerShell as I have specified earlier in video, first video of web server. And what I am going to do, I am going to run that program and show you how the output will appear, right? So let's start the demo, right? So open the Anaconda Navigator and launch your Spider application, right? So here already I have stored my files, saved my files. Here is your HTML file which is named as index.html, where I have given form action slash login and method equal to post, same thing, which consists of two labels and two text boxes and one button. And this is saved as index.html, and this should be available. So if you see here, let me give save as and I will show you. So it is available in PyFlask templates, right? This is very much important. you have to place this, any HTML files should be placed under templates, right? And then I have created the Python file. So Python file, we have created that Python file. So just I'm doing 5,000. So once the Python file is created, now I am going to run it. So please keep in mind, using PowerShell, if you run, you can able to integrate many applications, many services along with that PowerShell itself, right? So don't run from here itself. So you can able to run here itself. It will also work, but for understanding easily and to integrate different services, you have to run it from your PowerShell, right? So that is very much important to learn the concept, right? So now what I am going to do, I am going to run this. So I am just stopping the previous service of mine. Control C, stop, and I am going to run that file, which is python second app.py, right? So this is your loopback address, which is represented as 127.0.0.1. So this can be either represented as it is, or you can give different names for that. You can give localhost, or you can use this IP address, right? So this IP address is represented as loopback address, right? So this is very much important. And then now I have started my web server, so it's running in this local host. So I'm going to web browser to check whether it is running, right? Okay, I'm opening the Google Chrome web browser, yes, and I'm going to restore it. Just type http colon, oh my god, colon slash slash localhost colon 5000, right? So can you able to see here, it's showing the first name, which is the label, and this is the text box, and then this is next label is last name, and again the text box, and finally a submit button. So this is your HTML file that is rendered during running this web server. It is communicating to the front end HTML file. So here I am giving GCT, and this is a college. So GCT is the first name and college is the last name. So while rendering, what it has to do, it has to, so while rendering, it has to display the first name in this Y value by passing that Y value, and it has to pass it to the index.html, and that has to be shown here, right? So that we will see. So I have given the first name and second name, and after submit, it is posting and getting this value. So can you able to see the GCT, which is the first name? So this is how we are rendering back to the HTML file, right? So far we have created two files. So if you are not able to see, I will just right. So two files, one is HTML file and another one is the uh, Python file. So since it is representing this value, so it's displaying there. So if you don't want, you can just delete it and save it, because it is a HTML file, right? So that's it. So first of method, what it is doing, it is rendering that index.html while you are calling this localhost. And second part, while you are pressing the submit button, it has to post, and then it has to retrieve the f name, that is the label name that is given here. So f name is nothing but this one, right? And then it has to retrieve the content, and it has to render back to the Y value. So Y value is represented here. So automatically GCT is printing in that content. So that is what shown here, right? Okay, with this, let me conclude the session. So that's all about the second lecture, and in the next lecture we will see how to implement the three-tier architecture. That meaning is it will include the HTML file, it will have its own web server, that is your Python file, and we are going to connect it to the backend, that is MySQL, right? So either you can use XAMPP or remote MySQL. Let me explain the both the cases, or let me stick on to the remote MySQL, so that will be easy for you to implement in future also. If you are not having your MySQL in your laptops, and if you have only the internet connection, you can use this remote MySQL at any time. Thank you. So thank you for listening my class, and if you have not gone through the first video, please see the description and go through the first video. Thank you.